this weekend's results were tasty. I would say we're very tasty set of games. Oh wait, here we go. Oh,
I'm coming. I'm en route.
Oh, look at this. He's building
Blimey,
again. He likes.
Better late than never, I guess, eh?
1 second, boys. I'll be with you.
It's all right, we're only live. Don't worry about it.
Carry on, Sonny. Carry on. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
Right. What a professional outfit we've got. Here he is. Look. There we go. There's Stu.
All right,
Everton fan, fresh off celebrating a point.
Fucking get in.
Hey, what's the swearing about?
Yes.
I'm joking.
Come
You can swear.
on.
It's fine. It's fine.
If the boot was on the other foot, you'd be happy with that, lads. I reckon. So I was happy with that.
To be honest, if I supported a mid-table team, you're right. I would be delighted.
We're not in the mid-table. We're not in the mid-table.
Not yet.
We're up. We're in there. We're still in there. Sorry, Sonny.
That's all right, mate. It's good to have you here again.
No problem.
Luke, you're a Man United fan.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it would seem for the last 10 years. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, 10 years. I don't know about 10 years, mate. I think maybe.
Yeah,
well,
when was the last one?
it's on
2012.
10 years, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even our last title win was
enough.
a bit of because the rest of the league were pretty crap as well.
Yeah, that was the same last season as well, wasn't it? That's why.
Yeah.
No,
Liverpool,
no, here we go.
Right, so if you're unfamiliar with added time, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to run down the results from this weekend. We did predictions for these about 17 weeks ago because for some reason that's what Rich wanted us to do. So we've got a producer Rich in the background. He's going to cover Stu's face up with the results from this weekend. And John, lead the way, my friend.
All right, so let's start then with my arch rivals over at Arsenal and the game between Aston Villa and Arsenal yesterday. 1-0 to Aston Villa. Don't know if you guys saw it, but I've got a good mate, believe it or not, who is an Arsenal fan, and he says to me that he thought that they were out of the bad times, but it looks like they've gone straight back into it again. So. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been talking about should they have sacrificed the FA Cup now because now they're not doing anything this week in the midweek, and it looks unlikely that they're going to sort of make it any higher in the league.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on there? I don't understand. Arsenal are a massive club. They are. There's no denying that at all. But what's the issue there? I mean, they haven't been the same since Wenger left. But they've got a good group of players. But something. I mean, is it the manager? Is it attitude? I don't understand. What is the problem with Arsenal? I mean, they're a massive club.
He's still early.
They went concentrating yesterday. If anyone watched the match, 75 seconds in, and Watkins had scored already. That was a lack of concentration. That's one of their issues. And then they did have a few chances, but Aston Villa, I would say, had more chances. They were. Were really good. Grealish could have scored. Watkins could have scored again. The only couple of standout moments really were Xhaka had a great free kick for Arsenal, but apart from that, they look a bit tame to me compared to Arsenal of the past. There's something missing there, and the manager's got to turn it around quite quick because at the moment they're not looking great, are they?
No, not at all.
He needs to spend. They need to give him some money, I'm sorry. He needs some conkers, doesn't he? But you'd be jumping the gun, asking him to sack him. I'm sorry, you can see what he's trying to do, but he's still early into his range. You know what I mean? You don't want a Lampard scenario where he's gone, and I still don't think Tuchel's going to do it at Chelsea. I'm adamant, but yeah, Arteta needs time. In my opinion, needs time to get it. Why have they loaned Joe Willock? I didn't understand that one because he has been getting in the team, and he had a half decent game up in Newcastle yesterday. Just seems a bit iffy to me. I wouldn't have let him go. Maitland-Niles, I know he's been on the cusp of the team, but if they get some injuries, they could have done with them too, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's a mixture of bad signings, isn't it? The last couple of years, just poor signing after poor signing. I think Tierney's really the only one who has been a bit of a standout and a positive for them. I think David Luiz has been been terrible at times and okay at others. Willian, they thought he was going to be a bit of a saviour. The last few games of the season last year at Chelsea, he started to turn it on again and be the player that he was like 4 or 5 years ago. And then again, it's not worked out for him at Arsenal, and he's one of the worst signings that they've made for a long time. That mixed with the fact that Aubameyang and Lacazette aren't exactly in form right now. I mean, when I was growing up, Arsenal always had like 2 or 3 world-class players. Your Henry's, your Bergkamps, Vieiras, even your Tony Adams, and they haven't had a player like that for years.
No, totally agree with that. I mean, Aubameyang is probably as close as it gets to that. I mean, you know, his record at Dortmund was just unbelievable. And yeah, he has done a decent job for Arsenal, but he's not set the world on fire. He's not.
No.
There's just something about them. I don't know if it's a lack of hunger or, I mean, like you said, Luke, I mean, you know, bad signings. It's just so difficult to put your finger on. I mean, I've got mates who are Arsenal fans and, you know, they really do feel hard done to. There's, you know, all the usual ref conspiracies and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not having it. I just, there's just something amiss at the club, and it's not conspiracies or that the world's against them. It's just that they're crap. and that I can't even put it in any more of a polite way than that. They're just not at the races. I mean, where are they sitting in the league at the minute? 10th, 11th? Not good enough for a massive team like that. They are mid-table now, literally.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. 10th. They are literally mid-table.
So, yeah, the other scores from yesterday, we had Burnley 1, Brighton 1. I suppose a fair result on reflection when I was watching that back. Don't know what anyone else thought. Newcastle 3-2 was quite the game.
Mental.
So,
9 men. Down to 9 men, and they couldn't break them down. They had eight players and the keeper behind the ball. I had the radio on. But I was expecting. I thought Southampton are going to get at least a draw now, but they just could not. They could not get it in the net. They just not for the want of trying, but
Ings hit the post right near the end, didn't he? As well, so it was almost a big equaliser there. But I thought they were Newcastle were looking good, and it was Willock, wasn't it, who scored for them early doors as well. Yeah, they're a good performance, and to beat Southampton, I wouldn't have predicted that, to be honest. When we did our predictions, Newcastle have really turned it around in the last couple of weeks. So good on them.
After they beat us last Saturday, though, let's be fair to them. They were in a bit of a mire, weren't they? They were struggling, and Brucey's had a good couple of wins in the last 3, so they've got themselves out of it now, surely.
I think so. I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played, but yeah, they seem to have found some sort of form, and fair play to them. Steve Brucey was getting a lot of grief. Probably looking at the sack. I mean, especially if you listen to a lot of Newcastle fans, they're not happy or weren't happy. But, he seemed to have gotten playing a bit. And, maybe they are, going to do well enough to stop themselves getting relegated. I mean, I think they will. They'll stay up this season, but they really need to, probably chuck some money at the club next season. And if they're going to stay in the Premier League, because, they are an incredibly hit and miss team, Newcastle. But yeah, I think they could do all right.
Sonny, I was going to say Southampton have become a little bit hit and miss recently because they were really flying high. But then, yesterday, 2 good points for them to take away was Ward-Prowse's free kick was an absolute peach. What a goal that was! And also Minamino, who Liverpool have sent down to Southampton, scored an absolute belter as well. He didn't do anything like that playing for us. And it's literally, he didn't. He scored 1 tap in the first game of the season or something, and then that was a peach yesterday. He scored.
Great move for him. That is, Mike. He's going to play every week. Great, fantastic bit of business for them. That.
I think it's probably a good move for him, definitely as well. I mean, he probably didn't really get much of a sniff at Liverpool, did he, Mike? To be fair.
He was coming on about 75 minutes in a couple of games, but
I mean, you can't.
The games he did play, he didn't perform well, unfortunately for us. But you could always see there was something about him, but it just never materialised on the pitch, unfortunately. So, I was excited in a couple of games, thinking, "Oh, here we go," but just didn't happen. And then suddenly he's at Southampton, 10 minutes in or whatever. Yesterday, Berry's one.
Hopefully he'll have a good second half of the season there, and then come back to you guys next season and not be as good.
Re-energized, yeah.
Flog him on.
We've got enough players
and
playing
the
well
other
at the moment,
game,
unfortunately.
in the other games, we had Fulham 0, West Ham 0.
Surprised at that. Really
I was,
surprised at that.
I think I might have. I got close to that. I think I remember that prediction.
Go on,
I had
John.
to do about God knows how many weeks in advance.
Oh, from the olden days, I don't remember that.
But yeah, finally, of course, the big one with some of the guests in here: Man United 3, Everton 3, and what a thriller that was towards the end. I'd shut that match off at like 80th minute, thinking, "Man, that's over. Man United have got it in the bag." I did not see that coming at all.
Stu, I'll let you take the lead on this one, mate, before I step in.
Oh, no, come on, don't be like this, Sonny.
No, I'm not. Last night I was fuming. Last night I was seething, mate. I was at boiling point.
I'll look at it from your point of view as well. You should have been home and hosed. You had the chances. You bossed it for half an hour in that first half. We had the ball for the first quarter of an hour quite a bit. We didn't do much. We didn't do much with it, did we? You should have been out of sight. But I don't know. I was not expecting that. But that's down to the manager, I'm afraid. That's the manager we've got, and that's the belief that he instills in that team. It wouldn't have happened under Marco Silva. We wouldn't have clawed that back. You would have killed it off. It's down to Carlo. Yeah, it's got to go down to the players. But yeah, I'd be aggrieved. I'd be pissed off if I was you guys, and you were pissed off. You should have beaten. You should have won it. You should have won the game. Should have signed, sealed, and delivered. But fantastic from us. Your front four were brilliant. Just a shame they weren't switched on at the back, wasn't it? I know you were going crazy last night, Sonny, with it. So
I was livid.
Champagne, Stu?
Sorry?
How was your champagne?
Champagne! Maybe if we win some silverware, Michael. I got a couple of bottles, actually.
It'll be a vintage by the time you get
it. It's dusty. It's got bloody... Yeah, it's dusty, mate. 1995. It's got bloody all sorts of crap all over it. Yeah.
I think the problem was he brought Tuanzebe on, and again, it was a stupid mistake from him that cost us the game. It was a needless foul to give away in a stupid position, but you can't. All the blame can't go on him. De Gea had, that first goal that you scored, he basically gave it to you. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh yeah, and in the same token, Sonny, Olsen was no better.
No.
And what was I saying? At the start of the week, I was like,
yeah, you were happy that he was going to play.
He's going to be great. He's going to be brilliant. He was no better off than having Pickford in goal, because the same sort of thing would have happened. But
he fell over, didn't he?
And then he's looking at his studs afterwards.
Yeah,
come on, get a grip, sunshine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the best pitchers in the world, and he's having a look at his studs and looking at the pitch, thinking, "Oh bloody hell, they put a divot there, haven't they?"
Them two need to take a look in the mirror. I'm afraid. They really do. Both
I mean, Luke, I'm going to bring you in here. How do you assess that yesterday? I mean, we were 2-0 up, flying, dominating the ball. Everton didn't even have a shot in the first half. And then, 7 minutes into the second half, it's 2-2. And, it takes that to get us back in that rhythm again. I mean, that shouldn't be happening. If you are serious about challenging for titles, which, don't get me wrong, I never thought in a million years we would win it. But if you're up and around there, it's the hope, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the trouble is as well, we've had so many victories which have come where we've been behind chasing the game and we've had to pile on the pressure. Yeah. Once we scored the 2 goals, we kind of just been like, oh, deal, that's it. And that was completely wrong because for the first 15, 20 minutes, they were all over us. And I was watching it thinking, oh, it's happening again. I kind of wanted us to concede because I thought, as long as if we concede, then we're going to start turning it on. Thankfully, we got a couple of goals and it was like, oh, brilliant. This is going to be a nice, easy win now. And for some reason, the actual players treated it as if it was going to be an easy win. We came out at half-time, high-fiving each other, and we just got caught straight away. I mean, a great comeback from Everton, and then we managed to salvage something. We had a little bit of luck. Olsen trips, McTominay's header, which I don't think he meant to put it in. I think he hit it against someone else, and it somehow went in there. Yeah, we had a little bit of luck, and then I'm against bringing on other defenders. I think pack out your midfield. I'm never in the belief of bringing on more defenders because unless someone is injured. or you're getting absolutely tonked. I don't think you should disrupt your back line. We are playing poorly in the back line, but adding another one there in the middle of a game is kind of a bit confusing. You're asking people, right, what do I do now? Who have you been marking the whole game? Whereas if you pack out the midfield, it's kind of a little bit better and you stop the pressure being invited on. And that's basically what we did. We invited the pressure on and it cost us in the end. We took off players who we can use to catch people on the break, brought on another defender. I would have rather have brought on another midfielder and kind of packed out it that way. And giving away a stupid free kick. Maguire, £18 million for a guy who doesn't know how to play offside is an absolute joke. The leadership he needs to be stripped of the captaincy at the end of the season. Like, let him have it to the end of the season, because I don't think we've really got much to play for now. Like, we've got the FA Cup, that's fair enough, but league-wise, like, let him carry it out. But Bruno's got to be wearing that armband next season.
He has to be, He has to be. I think
he's the best player in the league, boys. I'll say it right now.
He's a natural-born leader. You can see. I remember watching one of his first games, like this time last year was like his second game, and he was bossing people around. And I thought, he's got the audacity to come into Manchester United from Portugal and just be like, right, you go do this, and telling people what to do. That's a natural born leader. Harry Maguire, he just looks like he's too dumb to do something like that.
Can I just come in for a second here, just because I didn't say about a player who did fantastic, and I've been critical of him. Tom Davies was absolutely brilliant last night.
He was
110% in there. I hold my hand up, lads. I've slated him many a time with a lot of the other Evertonian fans, but I tell you what, he put a shift in yesterday. He was brilliant. He was so good, and he deserves a pat on the back for last night, because he's come under fire. He's come under fire off a lot of Evertonians. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it as 2 points dropped. It felt like a loss. It's one of the only times this season I've really felt aggrieved. Like annoyed at the players, and I really felt like it felt like a sucker punch. It felt like a loss. It really hurt. Not because of Everton and who were playing. So obviously Everton are a good team. They're up there competing for top four. But it was the manner in which it happened, and the way that the defense switched off, and the way that De Gea keeps making these stupid mistakes. It just felt like the lads from the midfield upwards played brilliant and deserved the win. And then, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw were great. And then you've got them two clowns at the back who just really, really let us down. And it's just, we need another right back as cover, and we need two centre halves. We need to spend big to get them. Stop faffing with midfield players, because we've got them. Everything from midfield upwards is great, but it's going back that's the real problem there.
Greenwood was good for you last night.
Good player, it's great.
I'm focusing on Everton, obviously, but I thought Greenwood did all right for you. My man over here is not agreeing.
So there's times where I think, that's good, but that he does something which really frustrates me. And when I used to play like grassroots, it used to frustrate me as a striker, when I used to have a fancy winger who wanted to cut inside all the time. Because there's so many times Cavani made a darting run. He was great off the ball, Cavani. So clever. So many times he made a fantastic run where he needed to be slipped in down the channel, which would create a good attack, or he'd be played through on goal. And Greenwood and Rashford, instead of doing that, figured, I want another touch, and then cut inside, and then I'll pass it backwards now. And it's just like, for Christ's sake, like, the whole point of us being a counter-attacking team is for those players to get on the ball and feed players in. And so many times I felt sorry for Cavani, because I can see himself getting frustrated, because the amount of good runs, he could have had like 3 or 4 one-on-ones and maybe a hat-trick. But yeah, I mean, Greenwood, so many times he should have played a cross, he should have played a through ball. He just holds on to the ball a little bit too long. But it is an experience, isn't it?
Definitely.
He's still a young player. He needs to work on his decision makings.
I agree. And I think it also shows why we do probably need to buy a right winger and stop trying to play Rashford there, because he's much better off the left. I mean, it's just a different gravy off the left. You play him on the right, and he does nothing pretty much all game, and then you put him on the left, and he's a terrifying player. I mean, I wouldn't want to play against him, but
no,
I'm fat and slow. So
I was going to say, guys, Cavani scored that header early on, but in the comments at the moment, Chris Humes just put that if Yerry Mina was playing, that Cavani header wasn't happening.
I didn't want Michael Keane at the back last night. If I'm honest, he didn't look great, Michael Keane. And look how many headers Mina won against Leeds midweek. Chris is correct. Like absolutely, Mina starts ahead at the back with me with Ben Godfrey. Mason Holgate wasn't very good yesterday.
No, he wasn't. No.
He was at 6s and 7s when you were coming at him. But Yerry Mina, Cavani's fantastic. I'm not knocking him, but I don't know if he would have got that header because Mina is a colossus in the air at the back for us. He is very good.
Yeah. So 3-3, 2 points dropped. Let's move on to. But good point for you, Stu. I'm happy for you, mate. I am.
Sonny, I was made it.
I can imagine you were, mate. Yeah. I can imagine you were.
Champagne's coming out, mate. Champagne's coming out after this.
Got that bottle out.
Gareth,
blows the dust off it.
Get the Bollinger out.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to today's games. Obviously, my beloved Tottenham, who I'm still not 100%, even after this result, I've got to be honest with you, I'm still not convinced. 2-0 today. Again, odd selection. A lot of fans starting to get really irritated now. I keep saying this all the time, but if there were fans in that stadium, I'm not sure the players would be able to get away with this style that Mr. Mourinho likes us to fulfill, regardless of what the score seems to be. 2-0 today, but I've got to be honest with you, Dele Alli, not even in the squad. We've now got Scarlett, who's making the bench, who's a great player, by the way. He's going to be something, but it's unbelievable.
Awesome.
Gareth Bale sitting on the bench, playing with his hair. I mean, it's the same thing. He's gone from one bench to another. It's a nightmare. Mate, I was all for Bale when he come back. I was up in arms, got to go and get the top, all the rest of it, number 9. I can't understand what is going on there. Is Daniel Levy just like cashing in on the T-shirts or, the sales of that, and then we flog him back? They're doing that at the moment with Tottenham women. They seem to sign like a famous women's player for about 3 months, and then they go. So I've got a feeling it's a similar situation. But yeah, before this game, we'd lost 3 on the trot, which I think was the first time since 2012. And a lot of fans were saying, if he didn't, come out of this with a win, that maybe we'd be looking for another manager. To be honest with you, I don't think that would have happened. I think, if anything, Daniel Levy will wait until the end of the season because there's no one really about at the moment that's, we'll probably have to look. Yeah.
Who would you get?
That's what I mean. To be honest with you, if I was going to do a quick fix, as crazy as this sounds, I'd just bring Harry back. I'd bring Harry back till the end of the season, get his arm around Bale, get his arm around all the other players, and just let them go gun-ho until the end of the season, see where we come up at. But other than that, there's no point trying to go after a manager now on a long-term basis at the minute. But it's one of those things. I've not given up on Jose. I know that the whole thing is he wins trophies. That's why we brought him in by all accounts. I know he's got that. I can't discredit it. Everywhere he's gone, he's won a trophy. So maybe I've got to wait till the end of the season. It's just a real difficult thing because we've always played great football, especially under Poch, and before that. But I feel like our identity has just completely gone. And I want to win a trophy, and I know we didn't win a trophy by playing all this wonderful football. So it's a real hit and miss for me. I don't see us beating Man City though on the League Cup final after seeing what I saw today. I've got to be honest.
Jose does this. I mean, it's one of them things with him. You think he's probably on the verge of losing his job, and then he sneaks a little victory in there and keeps his job for another week. It was the same when he was at United. Football was so negative. It was, when he first comes in, he brings all this excitement with him. He brings all this Jose Mourinho press, loving with him because of how he talks, and he says like he's happy and talks about himself in the third person and all that stuff. But a few months in, he's got his teeth into the team, and they're just playing super defensive. And it's the same with you now. I mean, you've got all these fantastic attacking players. You got Son, you got Kane, Lucas Moura, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's got Tottenham playing. But then the last few weeks has been the opposite of that, and it's been a bit of a backlash against him. But it's the same pattern every single time with Jose, and it's amazing to me that top tier teams, like teams who want to challenge for the Premier League title, keep going for Jose because, yeah, he's won trophies, but when was the last time he won the league?
Chelsea, wasn't it? Chelsea.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Jose, and it's always happened, even in his time at Porto, his teams are based around a solid defence. To win the league, Jose needs the best defence in the league. Every time he's done that, he's had the best defence in the league. He's had Carvalho and Terry. He's had Sergio Ramos when he was there. At Inter Milan, they had a fantastic defence when he was there. And that's how he builds his team. And now, when he was at United, we had a terrible defence. We had a terrible defence for years. If he had Ferdinand Vidic still, we would have bossed that league. It would have been so easy because he bases his game around a really solid defence. And unfortunately, Tottenham have a decent defence. They don't have the best defence in the league.
Yeah, I agree. John, would you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. The only good defender we've got is Reguilon, and he's out injured. So, to be honest, he's the most consistent one that we've brought in my opinion. But Alderweireld, he's coming to the end, really, if I'm honest. Yeah. He's been a great servant, no doubt about it. Eric Dyer is not a centre-back for me.
No, he's not.
He's a CDM. He's a CDM.
Yeah,
100%.
I've never.
I think it's a Jose thing. I think he liked him ever since back in Portugal, and he likes the fact that he stands up to people. I think it's just more of an attitude thing than a playing. Yeah. But Eric Dyer, I mean, swap. Eric Dyer. The only reason he was coming off good is because of how defensive we was. Really, that he got the plaudits, if I'm honest. But yeah, we haven't got the right. I thought we were going to get a top defender in the window. I think that's what we should have gone after, but they didn't do the business, and I think we'll struggle now with that until Aurier. He's always got a crazy mistake in him. You don't know what he's going to do. Sometimes he's either fantastic or he just gives away something crazy. Matt Doherty, unfortunately, hasn't come in and produced because he's more of a wing back, and Jose doesn't really need that. So I'm really struggling to work out who scouted that and put that one across the line because it just makes zero sense. So without sounding too negative after a win, I've got a feeling we'd be very lucky to get top 6 at the moment.
John, I was going to say, Kane and Son did the business for you again, though, didn't they? And Kane came up on some sort of didn't he come up on some sort of record today? Is he second place now? Most goals scored, 208 goals.
Yeah, and I think they're on the cusp of between them two as well. As far as a partnership with assists for each other, I think there's a record going on that as well. I don't know who's currently got it, but I know that's up for grabs.
Imagine he wasn't so injury prone, Kane. He's done well. He's done well with the injuries, getting all them goals. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah. It's an every season thing with Kane, though, isn't it?
Yeah. There's always something. Yeah.
It's always when he hits a good peak of form as well.
Yeah.
At this rate, talking about defenders, I reckon Gareth Bale will be left back by next week. So
imagine that.
His roots. Yeah, that's where it'll go. Jose, send him back to Real Madrid. I've worked on him for you. He's a left back for you. The next results, we got Wolverhampton 0, Leicester 0. I thought this was again, Wolves look decent for me. They look very good. I'm struggling to think like why they're not higher, because they look really good on today's performance. I've got to say, and they always get the best out of their team. They if there's anyone that's done some good business over the last few years, it's them. They've done some great business, and like for very low prices as well.
They're just struggling to score goals, I think. They had a big chance for Fabio Silva. He tried slotting it in between the keeper's legs, and it deflected and just went past the post. They've brought in Willian Jose. It's been interesting to see how he does, because he's a goal scorer in La Liga. Whether he brings that over, we always see a few players like Soldado, Negredo struggle at first when they come to the Premier League. They're used to a lot of a slower game. So it'd be weird to see how he adapts to it, but I think they're just struggling to score goals. And if I watched this game, and Leicester, they had the right game plan to not concede. every time Adama Traore got the ball, they brought him down. And that stopped Wolves' attack. And they had one chance, really, Wolves, and they missed it. Leicester were quite unlucky, really. Vardy, just coming back from an injury, he had a couple of chances where Vardy 3 weeks ago would have put that away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leicester seems to have gone off the ball a bit recently. I mean, obviously Vardy's absence recently has, really affected him. I mean, he's obviously their talisman. He really is. He's just feel like he's an evergreen player.
Mm.
Considering he's older than Cavani and looks about 10 years younger, he's still got outrageous pace as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 35 or 34, whatever he is, I could barely walk, let alone run the pace that he does. So it's a fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, I think Leicester will be there or thereabouts again in the top four, but it's a tough competition this year.
That's a missed opportunity for Leicester that today.
Huge.
Yeah, Wolves are no mugs though.
No,
they're really not.
I'm not disputing that, but they have struggled, and you can't just put it on Jimenez. I know he scores a lot of goals, but I look at that one and I think Leicester, where they need to be, they needed a win today, but it's as you say, another 0-0. So
Wolves had a few chances first half.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, it was they didn't look too bad at all.
Good side. I'm not disputing that. They just haven't hit it, have they, as they normally do.
Do you see that Jimenez is going to be back before the end of the season?
Apparently so, yeah.
Mad, innit? It's mad to think.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was done, to be honest.
I would have thought so as well. It's a miracle if he can get in for
What was his actual diagnosis in the end? Did he fracture his skull, was it?
Yeah, that was it. It's just a fractured skull. But it looked like at the time it could have been a lot worse and have complications because it was a savage injury, wasn't it? But yeah,
it was awful.
Seemed to be all right. I think Wolves, though, I think they're just like one or two players away from being a top four club. I really do. If they keep their players that they are right now, because a lot of people are bouncing around, like the Ruben Neves, the Adama Traores, they manage to keep hold of those players, get another really good centre-back in, and possibly another striker, as well as Jimenez, as well as Fabio Silva, then I think you could be looking at the same as what Leicester's doing this year, maybe, pushing for a top four spot.
Yeah. Now, sorry, John. I was going to cut you off there.
Well, now we end, of course.
That's all the games covered.
Mike's got to go now.
Come on, Michael.
So, Liverpool 1, Manchester City 4. Today's result. I'll start proceedings off here and let Mike gather his thoughts. I'm sure he's had time to calm down. But you know what? To be honest with you, neither team looked like they were doing an awful. I think 4 is a bit, too much in reflection of how the game was. I think when they got a goal back, I was kind of thinking they were still kind of in it for me, the way the game had been going. But I'm very surprised with just how good Man City have kind of come on, especially like this turn of the year. And a lot of people were doubting Manchester City at the start of the season. There was lots of injuries going on, and obviously they've had all these games in hand as well, and that's kind of been not a true reflection on where they should be. So I think they've been in the shadows, and it's perfect timing for them now because they're catching up with the games, they're playing the top teams, and they're getting the results. So it's kind of a master plan really coming off. But still, I have to say, this season, I'm still not convinced truly that Manchester City are going to win it yet.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's done.
I think it's done as well. Yeah, I mean. Yeah. That's the Mardy United fan in me from last night still, but really bitter and salty about last night.
We win 9-0 and I'm like, it's still on. We won 9-0. We drew 3-all. Yes, done.
Yeah, we didn't win yesterday. I thought, we're still amongst it here, but no.
Why I say that is the fact that I've got a feeling when all these more competitions come along, I think they may get distracted. I know what they really want more than a league, and I've got a feeling. I just got a feeling they're going to go all in that, and they're going to take their eye off because this season's a wacky season. Home and away doesn't mean anything as much anymore, and because if they go out of it as well, that's going to have a huge effect on them. And I've just got that feeling, but I could be wrong.
You know what's
Go on
going to
then,
happen,
Mike.
don't you? You know what's going to happen is they'll run into us in the Champions League. We'll win the Champions League to make up for not retaining the title this season. It's bound. That's what Jurgen Klopp's plan has been all along, I believe. So we'll see that happen later on the year. But yeah, bit of a tentative start in the game today. Both teams feeling each other out. We had a few chances early doors. Mane with a header that he put just over that could have been a goal. Firmino hits a shot that could have gone in on another day. Towards the end of the half, Thiago had a free kick that I thought they were going to leave to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I noticed Man City had one of the defenders being used as a draft excluder for that one, so that was a bit different. But yeah, and then Gundogan gets that. Gundogan got that penalty, didn't he? That was a bit soft, I thought. I thought Fabinho was running away from play, and Sterling ran into his legs. So I mean, it was a bit of a soft penalty, and another disastrous penalty for Man City at Anfield with Gundogan putting it into the back of the crowd. It was a bit of a Super Bowl punt, that one, I thought. The back of the no crowd,
back of the seats,
back of the stadium. What was it the commentator said there? Near the top corner of the stadium, he said in the commentary. So, but then it came out second half, and Gundogan got that goal. It came in, and Alisson made the save, but he didn't get it away very far. And you'd hope there'd be a defender there to clear that away. It looked pretty innocuous, and then Gundogan's first man to the ball. He's never missing that. So that was 1-0. We got back into it with a penalty to make it 1-1, and then there was sort of about 5 or 10 minutes of madness where City did actually score, and Stones scored, I think it was, and I failed to see the replay on all the offsides. To be honest, it didn't look offside when I first saw it, but I saw there was problems then, and then but at that point I'm still thinking it could go either way. At 1-1, I'm thinking we could turn back on here and get this, but then Alisson seems to just have a bit of a nightmare. He's passed one out to one of their players, got it back to him, and then passed it out to another one, and they've scored. That wasn't great. And then does exactly the same thing about 5 minutes later, and it's game over. And then we did concede that other one for Foden at the end, wasn't it? Scored a cracker that was good.
Yeah.
Fair play. Possibly could have been 2-1. On a different day, we would have showed up and been a bit different. But I think earlier on in the week was the result that hurt us the most, I thought, because when you lose to Brighton at home, that's to me was the sort of end of the title chase there for me. And then today was just rubbed salt in the wounds. And 4-1 was a bit. I think it looks like they've had a good game, whereas really I didn't think it was one of Man City's better games. I don't know what everyone else thought, but I didn't think City looked as exciting today as they have in other games. And on another day it could have been a completely different story. But we just don't look good enough at home at the moment. We look like we're really missing the fans. We're really missing Virgil van Dijk and Jota as well. I've said for the last couple of matches, Jota's he was great when he was at Wolves. He's come to us. He was exciting when the other strikers weren't scoring. He still was. Since we've lost him, we've really struggled. Draw with Newcastle, draw with Southampton, the loss to Brighton and Burnley, both soft losses really that could have been on a different day. But I just think Klopp now needs to give the team a real shake-up. And one thing that upsets me is that there's never any emotion shown at the pitch side. From what I'm seeing, he's always just like, I want to see him going nuts at these players because.
Do you think he's run out of ideas?
No, I think he's got loads of ideas, but I think he's. I don't know quite what. I don't know quite what he's being told to do. You see rumours every day of him leaving to go somewhere else because he's not happy with the money he's getting or whatever. But I mean, he just seems a little bit too passive for me. And I know if there were fans there, you would have saw people absolutely losing their rags today in Liverpool. There was already people setting off fireworks, and Gary Neville quipped that he's still in Tier 2 round here or something. But I think there's a lot of people who aren't going to be happy with them results, and we are still up there. And we're in, but it's a bit false because people like Everton have got 2 games in hand over us and are only 3 points behind us, so they could leapfrog us.
In fairness, we're awful at home. Our next 3 with the cup game midweek, we're at home now for 3 games, and we're not good. We're not good. We're better on the road. We're much.
Well, that's the thing. We used to be good at home as well, and we've lost 3 on the bounce now. So we've scored 1 goal at Anfield since New Year, which was Salah's penalty today, which was a great penalty, by the way. And he must still be top scorer in the league, is he? But it's a
Just
bit
about,
of a
yeah.
false. It's false economy that because we're not performing as well as we can do, and
Can you have a
we
word
are
with?
really missing a few players.
Can you have
I'm
a word
going to
with
give Klopp
Jason
a ring after
McAteer?
this. Big Jason, yeah.
Have a word with Jason McAteer about false positions, will you? Because he's obviously he's been a bit of a gobshite recently, saying that we're in a false position, and you lot ain't picked a point up barely since. So I think he's probably cursed you a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was one bit of commentary today that definitely cursed me because when Alisson made that first mistake, I just heard Jamie Carragher go, "Hey!" I was like, what's he doing? As soon as I heard that, I knew it was going to be a disaster. And one mistake's bad enough. One mistake's bad enough, but another one straight after. Now, I don't want to make excuses because I know the commentary has made quite a few excuses for us today. They were just trying to talk out how we could possibly be losing. But, Alisson was sick earlier on in the week, missed the game. I don't know if you needed to rush him back. I know it's a big boost to the team seeing, you've got Alisson in goal, you've got Mane back, you've got Fabinho back. That is a big boost. But I think if he's not well enough, leave him out of today's game and let that other keeper have a game because he's made two big mistakes, which has cost us the match today. And he is world class. He's if not the best keeper in the world, I would say. But today he's cost us, and it just seemed like he was distracted, and it was I don't know. It's not a good result today, but we go again. So we'll have to see how we get on next week when we play Leicester. So that could be an interesting game. We do perform better away. So.
Yeah, be an interesting game next week, definitely. But we've got a latest score as well: Chelsea 0, Sheffield United 0. That's the latest there. Right, we're going to cut to a